Hello, this is Irv, and in this video we're going to dive into generating scripts from your Aegisub work. This is assuming that you're not going to go the subtitle route, but you're going to go the more work but potentially much more rewarding route of actually doing a dubbed translation of Archivo Cero with multiple actors in a language, and find a studio in your country where bringing them a script and the work print video, you can hand them that. You can do voice auditions, get actors, record them. Somebody can adjust and mix down all the voices and make a new translation. So the start of this wonderful journey begins again here in the dubbing kit. And if you go down into the in the new language directory, in translation and dub scripts, you'll see an example of the script in English. Now this first one is the English recording script, and this script is actually it's formatted as a web page. So you could take that file and you could get it to your iPad or your Android, and you could view this just out of your browser on there or on a laptop. And this script is in the order that the loops actually occur in the film. And one thing that I'm reminded of looking at here, this first loop, if you look at the front, these aren't actually spoken. You could, I suppose, if you want to, but they're subtitles. The original Spanish, it's actually Spanish words on the screen, so you could subtitle it, or if you have a really great actor narrator, you could have them say those things, I suppose. And of course here's along the edge the syllable count for each line in the film, as we were talking about in one of the other videos. The voice of the actor, the time code where their lines are spoken from, and these the track and the loop number, these other things that we're talking about. So that's in the order of the as where the loops occur in the film. So all the way down to loop 496. Now, something that's really helpful for a dubbing situation in a studio is to actually have all the lines together for an actor, so that when they come in, all they're looking at is the stuff that they're doing. So that's what this other, I've got an example here in English, but you'll be able to generate this automatically from your translation, as I'll show you in just a minute here. So here, the very first voice up here, the crowd voice, if you look in the README, you'll see what that is. All these people saying, "We'll fight," in episode, what is that, 12, I think. The young man voice, the 3 lines that he has, young man 2, the 3 lines, and the young woman 1. These 3 people are just people on the hill in episode 12 as they're rallying everybody to unite and free File Zero. And then the various other voices, Blanco, also called Silver, in Spanish called Blanco, and Cero in Spanish. And so again, this, you could use it like a checkoff and go loop by loop for that character. And again, let's go to that ergo line we were talking about in the other episode, where ergo and Nuta both say ergo. So ergo, when they're with Nuta and they're saying in a mocking tone of voice, "Without historical knowledge we're easier to govern," here that loop, and we call it 11A, shows up for ergo. He's supposed to say that in that mocking tone of voice. And if we go down to Nuta, down under the N's, N-U-Y, too far. And there's her version of that. She also needs to say, "Without historical knowledge we're easier to govern." That's loop 11, but we call it 11B here. So very handy. All of those things are in order of the character, just the character altogether, and the order that they speak them from the beginning to the end of the film. And that this is all generated out of Aegisub, and I will show you how you can do that. Compared to how we had to do this years ago, this is just magically wonderful. Praise God. So let's go into our dub master again, Aegisub. Spread it out here. So let's pretend I've done all my work and I've got my translation in here. By the way, we've used this for Aegisub for Arabic and Korean and various languages, and seems to work really well. That automation director that we're talking about, and it's documented in the README file. If you look on automation here, I've got these two scripts installed. One for generating the script for the loop order, and the other one for the actor order. And the reason you know they're installed here is because the Save As menu shows up with these two scripts. Let's say they didn't here. I'll pretend that if they're not showing up for you, I'll just remove those. All you need to do is add and go to this translation automation directory, select those two files, and now they're added, and now they will show up here. So let's save as printable script. I'll go into dub scripts, and let's say now that this is I'm pretending it's my German translation. I hit save. It's doing all that great, wonderful stuff to generate the script for my new translation. And we'll do it again, now in sorted by actor order. And I'm going to call this German. Save. So from this data that you entered here, it's generating that script dynamically. And the wonderful thing about that is it's easy to generate those. Go in here, maintain it in one place, and then you can generate those scripts. Another handy little trick I want to show you, if you go into dub scripts here, and this sorted by actor, I'll double click on that and show it to you here. This is a little something I added in to highlight the voice in red and the line in blue, the line of dialogue. If you want to change that, that's something that you can do very easily. You can go into, you can edit that file. I have something called Notepad++, which is another free program that you can get, or you could use Notepad or other things. And this little tiny, what they call CSS at the very top here, the script text, let's say it's distracting to have the voice done in red there, and I want to do it in green. So I could type in green and save that. Get out of Notepad. And now when I bring it up, there it is in green, and it changed it throughout the entire document. Or you could change it to black if you don't want any of that kind of stuff. Really handy little aspect of the script and HTML. So that is a little bit about generating the script. And of course, if you were wanting to print this out, one thing you could do is you could go into this web page here, hit Control A, that selects everything, and then Control C, copy, and then you could do something like bring it into your word processor with a new document and hit Control V and paste it into your word processor. And then now, if you want to print this out, you'll see, let's go back to the top. There it is, and you'll see it splits across pages, and maybe you don't like where that line is, and you want to break it yourself. So you could literally go down. Let's see if I have to hit it in the right place here. If I hit Control Enter, this is in Word, then that forces that whole line to go down to the next page. So you could do something like that, and if you really want to have a print version of this and go through and split all these things and make sure that they're going on new pages. So, but otherwise it's electronic, so you could view it on your laptop for the actor, or an iPad, or Android tablet, and be really nice, and you can just stay electronic without ever going paper if you want. So hope that was helpful. And as always, if there's questions or something that I was not clear on, please leave a comment on the YouTube page. And thank you very much.